Sorry, it's hilarious to me to go from ninja fighting to dad who only slaps people. He just slapped a whole room. Like, I think he punched one guy. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we are back with some more Voltace 5. I, of course, have the board to go over, or at least go over a board changelog. You all have the visual here, and if I've been doing things right, there will have been a link in the description of the video for your own board that you can go look at, so you're not stuck with whatever size appears on your screen. But verbally, I connected Hamaguchi to Jangle with a red line because literally they were fighting each other in person. I marked Hamaguchi as dead because he is now dead. I added Sakumi, connected him to Kenichi with a white line, and then I connected him to Heinel with a red line. And then I marked Sakumi as dead because the final thing he did was die. That said, though, I still also have notes. I believe I brought this up in a previous episode's reaction, but I'm fairly certain that we see the Go kids, reuniting with their father in the ending credits. So the whole he might be brainwashed against them ploy is kind of spoiled by the end of every episode. Then again, this could be that difference in old anime versus new anime, where older anime doesn't seem to care that much about spoiling things, where this is being more about the journey to the end than the end itself. So knowing that might not matter to most viewers of the time. Zool's discovery that humans are capable of love is such an odd thing. For many reasons. They have any number of human slaves. You'd think any number of them might have begged for their loved ones' lives, and in the process expressed said love as a trait that could be observed. They are observing the planet down to the level of knowing what specific individuals are up to. You'd think they would have seen acts of love happening by now. What do they think is going on between Megumi and her father when they tried to use that familial connection to their advantage? Or when Megumi showed up to save her father? Even if they think we are just alien animals, animals express these emotions as well. Especially some of the animals that they've used for their beast machines. Just a crazy insight into how above us they think they are. Just a funny thing to take note of. 1997 show. This is when the show was made, or at least when it came out. Zool creates this massive machine whose only purpose is to copy the voice of someone else. Today you can do that on your phone. Always funny when sci-fi guesses what the future will be capable of, but always gets the scale wrong. Sorry, as always, we record these live. Fail Fisher is in the chat saying 1977. Sorry, this is going to be one of those elements where I have brought this up to lessons before, where in my mind I'm saying a thing, and apparently maybe I said the wrong thing, because in my mind I said 1977. Here, I'm even pasting to Phil Fisher there exactly what I have in my note, so you can see that it says 1977. But what happens a lot of the time is that I'll go back in the recording, and when I'm editing, I'll have said something completely different than what's in my head. Like, plenty of times I'll do the recording, I'll do the editing, and I'll have said the wrong name completely. Though I know, in my mind, I said the right thing. Most of you, if you go back in the to watch any of the videos, how many times have you heard me say the stone-faced reactions? because I hear it all the goddamn time while I'm editing. I don't know why this is the symbol for me. I hear it all the time. Anyway, uh, I don't say the stone face reactions. When I'm talking, I say, "Welcome back to stone face reactions." Somehow, the gets in there every time. Anyway, bit of a segue. As I mentioned during the reaction, it's crazy to me that they just buy into hearing their father's voice. I get that it's been a long time, that Hiyoshi was too young to hear it, and Daijiro doesn't remember. But Kenichi says with certainty that he remembers. It doesn't seem like Zool knows what their dad sounds like, though. And I'm not questioning the voice mimic thing itself. I just mean that people talk with a cadence and inflection all their own. Zool would be talking in Zool's cadence and inflection, but with Professor Go's voice. It'd be like using a barely trained AI. It seems very unlikely anyone could be fooled. Maybe because they are distraught and easier to fool by the voice of a loved one, but with Skull Ship in the sky, you'd think they'd be much more on guard as well. It's regrettable that we lost Hamaguchi in an episode focused on just the worst Beast Fighter. It was legit comical in an episode where we lost, ironically, the father figure we've had this entire time. So far, we are 2 for 2 with people escaping from the bull. Sorry, you've taught me how to say this, and I didn't make a note about how to say it, so I'm going to try it off the top of my head because I'm about to say it the old way. Asnians, and coming to Big Falcon being traps. At this rate, the team should never trust anyone escaping from their captors. That feels like the real trick Heindel's pulled here. He's burned them one too many times that when it happens for real, whoever really escapes is just gonna get locked up. I mentioned this last time, but the fact they are scanning for mind control on the old man, or checking that he isn't a robot, would imply that this is something that's happened before. We talked about it early on, that it seems like they've been having off-screen adventures as well. Well, I guess this must fall under that. It makes me think of Chargeman Ken from 4 years prior to when this came out. That episode where the real professor gets replaced with a double that has a bomb in their head. Also, they stripped the old man naked to test him, but next time we see him, he's sneaking around the vault machines with spy gear. So they scanned this man head to toe, but didn't even check his pockets. That is some massive oversight. Like, I get that maybe someone looked at the glasses and didn't think anything of it, but what about the device he plants on the vault machine? I know it's in his shoe, but if you are scanning his entire body for stuff, scan his clothes too. Legit, this goes into the top 5 dumbest things the base crew has done so far. Interesting to note that if even one person accidentally pushes the vault button in their machine while they are vaulted together, then the entire thing comes apart. That could have a lot of impact if any of them get mind controlled or have an infiltrator on board, etc. down the road. And my last note here. Ultimately, I believe Sakami, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Sakami's arc was there to expose Kenichi and the team to what a father would do to save his kid, and to make them think of their own father in that context outside of their own fears about what Heindel and crew say their father is up to. If they have seen how far Sakame would go for his daughter, how could they ever believe that their father wouldn't go just as far for them? But yeah, those are my notes from the last episode, and I believe I have guessed, because again, I can see the next time on in the episodes I watch with no subtitles, so it's a complete guess of what's happening. I'm gonna guess we're gonna get Robot Father in this episode, who's then going to try and assassinate the kids or something, because that's what it looked like. And the fact that they pulled out he's not a robot makes me think robots are in our future. So I say let's go ahead and hop on in and see what we get.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
It also seems kind of odd that they're playing up the aspect of using the father against them constantly. Or I should say constantly, constantly. I don't know. Because you'd figure it would have increasingly reduced returns, right? Because if I, like, your shoes are untied, right? And you look down and, like, flicked you in the nose. Made you look. And then I did it again. And you'd be like, no, they're not. And I'm like, no, really, they are, though. I was just, like, joking the first time. They really are untied. And you look down again. Flicked you in the nose. You fucking idiot. You know? The third time, there's no way you're going to believe me to look down that your shoes are untied. So, the fact that they are back to back to back fooling about the whole father thing. It's like, spread that shit out. Oh, well, I was right. Is that the Boasnian homeworld? I had guessed that before from the opening. Given how shoddy their connection is, I would not trust anything going through the transporter. Like, with the modern age that we know, like, packet loss and, like, jitter and everything else that can go wrong with a connection, you'd come through that thing looking like an impressionist painting from, like, the 60s. Again, we already know from the next time on, it's Professor Go, but it has to be like a robot version of Professor Go or something. And no way they would just let it walk up, assuming that they already think the real Professor Go is brainwashed. Kiyoshi would not know what this guy looks like. Unless they had pictures, I guess. Never mind. That was a dumb thing. I guess they had pictures, but I guess that means if this guy looks the same he did when he left, that's also a huge red flag. Unless this is like Apothecary Diaries, and this is a huge red herring, that he's coming back on his own, and Heinel actually got sent somebody else.
日吉ほら。あれがお父さんの秘密作戦基地だ。
秘密作戦基地？
そうだ。お父さんはボアザン星と地球の無益な戦いをなんとか終わらせようと秘密作戦基地を作った。
だからビッグファルコンへも戻らなかったの？
そうだよ。お父さんの行方が分かっては作戦は敵に。
Sorry, we're just indicating that he's been in a building on the island that we've never seen before all of a sudden.
あそこなら大丈夫だ。よし、みんなを呼び出してくれないか。
うん、分かったよ、お父さん。
And not like a small building either. It's like a whole villa.
お兄ちゃん、喜んで。僕今お父さんと一緒なんだよ。夢じゃない、本当にお父さんが目の前に。
なんだって？日吉、お前気は確かか？この靴、お父さんと一緒におっとごわすか？
ねえ、もっと詳しく話してよ。
Yeah, listen to Megumi.
海岸でお父さんに会ったんだ。お父さんに代わるよ。
ケイチ、大二郎、私だ、お父さんだ。長い間心配かけてすまなかった。お父さん、本当にお父さんなんですね。バカ者、この声がわからんのか？大二郎はいるのか？お父さん。
I mean, literally, though, you should probably all show up at the same time.
苦労したろうな。お父さんだって今すぐそっちへ行きたい。だが、どうしても行けない。詳しいことはあってから話す。一目だけでも会いたい。今すぐこっちへ来てくれ。
I mean, not for nothing, they are all combat experts.
お父さん、今行く。待っててください。甘いもんだぜ。親父と聞きはすぐにこれだ。そりゃ土下な意味でごわすか。いって俺の目で確かめてくるんだ。あとは頼んだぞ。
No, remember, we don't split up the team.
こちらファルコン。
This is what happened literally last episode.
お願いします。
殿下は本当に
Where the fuck was Hiyoshi? That they need to fly to get there.
愚かな地球人であればこそなせる技。しかし我が子を目の前にしたら考えが変わることも考える。うるさいぞズール。
ハイネル様、戦闘重視ジャガードの出撃準備が整っております。
よし、三兄弟の死を祝ってファルコンを赤々と燃やし尽くすのだ。
I mean, maybe you should wait. Like, wait and see if this thing kills the kids. The dad. I'm calling it this thing because I think it's a robot still.
いくらハイネル様の作戦でもあんな人間をどうして信用できるか。こうなったらわしがスカールークに乗り見届けてやるわ。
I don't know, this Zool thinks it's a human. Maybe it's not a robot.
おう、もししくじったらこの私の手でお前を殺してやるわ。
I think I still have Zool listed with a red line to Heinel because he fucking tried to betray him before.
Keiichi! 大二郎！お父さん！お父さん！おいどは嬉しか。ほどごつ嬉しか。夢じゃなかと。お父さん。
If this turns out to actually not be their dad, this cannot fucking work again. As per my whole made you look at your feet.
泣くんじゃない、日吉。嬉しか時に泣くとは男じゃなかと。みんな揃ったところで聞いてくれ。お父さんと一緒にあの星へ行ってくれないか。あの星ってまさかボアザン星？そうだ。今さら無益な戦いは避けるべきだ。な、ケイチ。なんだって？
If this isn't a trick, never mind, this sounds more like a trick. I'm thinking back to the opening and the very last line, as I pointed out. The very last line sounds like they take the fight to the bow as in the in-home world. Nope, never mind. Fuck this.
私の言うことが聞けないのか。返事は一つ。一緒に行くか死ぬかだ。お父さんはどうかしてる。お父さん、気を沈めて。
Legit, you're fighting experts. Restrain the man.
頭がおかしいでごわす。
お父さんひどいじゃないか。
お父さん、落ち着いてくれ。あんた、お父さんに何をするでごわす。きっとお父さんは奴らに操られてるんだ。大丈夫。
Yeah, literally.
車ってお父さんを取り
Could
押さえ
be. Restrain him. I'm still anticipating robot.
た。遅い、許してたもんせ。
Well, a robot wouldn't get him knocked out like that, I don't think.
貴様、やはりしくじりおったな。土台地球人に手を借りるのが間違っておるのだ。わしが親子ともども地獄へ突き落としてやる。それ。
Legitimately, there's nobody manning any of the consoles behind Zool. Ippei and Megumi.
早くメカに戻るんだ。ボンバー風。
I've really never seen the Skull Ship do much.
ベルトカッター。
It's legit the ship I want to see the most of, but it never really does much.
Zulme, 戦闘指揮官のこのわしを差し置いて出過ぎた真似を。ハイネル様、私が申し上げた通り、ゴーのあの姿をご覧になりましたか。私に説教など見上げたものだ。ゴーをやすやすと敵に渡すような。
Is he a robot? Is he a bomb?
勝利の宴の準備でもいたぜ。ああ、申し訳ございません。
Was everything I said wrong? Like I said restrain him, and the idea was that they would?
よし、4号機に乗るんだ。
お兄ちゃんお父さんが心配だ。
心配するな。医者に任せるんだ。
でも
よし、お父さんのためにも戦う姿を見せてやるんだ。
お兄ちゃんお願いだ。もう少しお父さんのそばに。
I mean, I get it, but I also get it from the aspect that Hiyoshi is just a little kid.
死んじゃ嫌だ。
He really should not be in this position.
の用意を。
If he is a robot, they are the stupidest doctors ever.
もぬけの殻同然。司令室を占拠せよ。これからゴー、お前がファルコンの司令官だ。
お父さん。
了解しました。直ちに実行します。
お父さんどうしたんだ。ああ、寝てなきゃダメだよ。
何をするんですか。離せ。
Sorry, it's hilarious to me to go from ninja fighting to dad who only slaps people.
お父さんどうしたんだよ。僕だよ。
He just slapped a whole rope. Like, I think he punched one guy. I think he didn't punch one guy, he punched a nurse. Stupid. It's funny, it's stupid though.
ボンバーミサイル。おお、ゴー博士、体は大丈夫なのか。
That's a gif if I ever heard one, Phil Fisher. Professor Ghost slaps.
何をするんだ。
I feel like this is gonna have to go into my top 5 stupidest things the base crew have done.
お前には死んでもらう。ゴー。
お父さんから。
Certainly this is the top 5 stupidest things Kiyoshi has done. How many times this guy gotta slap you around before you understand it's not who you think it is? And I guess you can't vault in because Kiyoshi ain't there.
上昇だ急上昇するんだ見たかあのざまをジャガードあとは任せた世は勝利の杯に酒をついで待っておるぞ長官岡長官すまん私が気を許したばっかりにどうしたんです長官暴君に指令室を占拠された
Yeah, I guess you can't use the Beast Machine to take out Big Falcon because Big Falcon is attacking the crew. It's the only thing keeping the crew at bay. Never mind, I completely misread. I was wrong.
俺は日吉とファルコを取り戻す援護してくれやむを得ん時は射殺する以外はないお父さんにそんな言い方やめてくれ
I think I just stood around with the door open this whole time.
俺はお父さんと打ち合う気はないんだお父さんうるさい出てけ出てくんだ侍と日吉の命はないぞ
お父さん
分かった君の言う通りにしようお父さん日吉がお父さんの子だ日吉を離せ甘ったれたことを言うな出てけはあ今だお父さん目を覚ましてくれお父さん
Could be just another guy with plastic surgery. I mean, it could be any number of explanations for this.
長官やめろ頑張ってくれお父さん撃ち殺さないでくれ
やめてお父さんはあや
Or conversely, shoot him in the leg. Shoot him in the foot.
お父さん
Incapacitate him with a shot.
お父さんお父さんお父さん
Oh. Was a robot. I'm going back to what I said before. Those were the stupidest doctors ever. They were going to operate? What were they going to operate on? Did they do no scans? No, like... Legitimately, they had no idea what was wrong with him. They were going to operate. Because if they did know what was wrong with him, they would have found out he was a robot.
汚いぜやつらまさかあいつがロボットだった本国は私をも騙していたのかジャンガル直ちに重視をファルコンに体当たりさせろ本国まで私を
How? Well, I mean, yes, because he's trying to kill you. We already know that. But I mean, this case, no, not really. He gave you a useful tool.
奴らに赤い血や燃えてる心なんかないんだ俺たちはお父さんに会える日まで必ず地球を守るお父さんのふるさと地球をレッツ
I mean, legitimately, you cannot use the father angle again. That has to be the last time. And I would argue that only failed because you used it the way that you used it. Unless he came through the portal and was unless he came through the teleporter and was just like, I need to do this, and presented himself as the real Professor Go. Because alternatively, they could have gone like on the big screen and said, we've got your father sword to neck. And pretended to be holding him hostage and used that as a tactic. Again, the element that there's just a giant button on their console that would disassemble the Voltace machine, and they can bounce all over the console every time they get rocked around. I still think the electromagnetic tops are the worst. I do not like them as weapons. Okay, he's burning them. I thought this was another machine that drained of its energy. Seems weirdly out of proportion in that scene. It seems like the design element of all the Beast machines is that they have to be capable of being chopped into a V. Breaking a glass, we're breaking another glass. Yep. I'm simply wearing one shoe. He tried to kill you. You know this already. Why did they have to make Deshiro a fat kid? He could have been a normal kid that got fat.
幻の父は消えていった果たして三兄弟が本当の父に会える日はいつのことであろうか
Also, Ippei and Megumi are there. I don't know. I feel like in some episodes we kind of just forget what's happened before. Like, remember when Jangle got locked up because he failed once and then he just allowed to keep failing? No one cares anymore. Or Zool betrayed Heinel because the inspector came and the inspector wanted Heinel dead because the Emperor wants Heinel dead. And we know that they knew Zool was up to it on behalf of the inspector because they fixed the Beast Machine's weakness that they had Zool leak. So I'm not fully understanding why they are surprised, or Heinel's surprised, that the Emperor's out for it. See, that has to be Professor Go, right? Very much seems like that's Professor Go rejoining them. I thought it was much clearer. Apparently it's not.
浜口博士を失ったビッグファルコンに今プリンスハイネルの波状攻撃が叩きつけられる大損害を被ったボルテス5を救う左近次博士とは何者か次回ボルテス5ファルコン壊滅の危機にご期待ください
I don't know what I'm watching here. That is very surprising because those aren't the same color as the regular Bowosnian. Sorry, that's the old way. Bowsanian invasion saucers. Which makes me think, is it a different faction? Is it a different invasion fleet? I mean, even the Beast Machine kind of seemed a little bit different, but I think that's just me, because every Beast Machine thing's a little bit different. Like almost a Hydra version of King Ghidorah. But then there's another guy flying in on like a hovercraft with guns on it. Kind of looks like Professor Hamaguchi did, like a younger version of Professor Hamaguchi. But I don't know. This could be a mad inventor episode. Somebody who's just like created saucers that look like Bowsanian invasion saucers and is now attacking. Or maybe the Bowsanian Earth invasion fleet now has a human guy who's working for them. I'm just like literally, I'm just trying to guess since I don't know the language. And again, as you know, I'm responding to Fail Fisher in the chat, who says they never discovered that it was the Emperor's order. As for Zool, they just thought that Zaki took Zool's blueprint without his knowledge. I guess it seemed very implicit to me that Zool was doing it on the Inspector's order, and that it was like, I don't know, the dude, like you're saying Zaki, you're saying Zaki. I don't know. It just doesn't seem that way to me. But then again, I'm a couple episodes removed from the show, so I mean, episodes removed from that one, and I don't think I have any notes specifically pertaining to that anymore. Because again, it seemed very clear to me what was going on, but I guess your interpretation does explain why Zool is still around. Like again, they locked Jangle up for failure. I'd have to think they do worse to Zool if they thought that he was responsible. But still, I mean, even on my board, I still have to tie Zool to Heinel with a red line, because even if they don't know what Zool was responsible for, Zool is still responsible for it. So, alright, I guess I'll just recontextualize what I thought from back then to now, as Zool is a traitor that nobody knows. So I guess at some point there might be a future call from the Emperor to do a thing, and Zool is going to do it. Because nobody else would. Clearly, it doesn't seem like Catherine would betray him. Despite the fact that Jangle got tortured, it seems like he's loyal too. Alright, well, either way, that was an episode of Vault Taste 5. The stupidest doctors on the planet try to operate on a robot with apparently doing no diagnostic work whatsoever to determine what is wrong with their patient. Like, can you imagine? What do they think is wrong with him? Like, is it a heart attack? Did he have a heart attack? And they're like, well, we need to operate. So you've done no scans, no diagnostic work, no blood work, nothing. They were going to operate with no information. Again, it's going to be in the top 5 of stupidest things the Big Falcon base crew have done. Either way, I was already doing my sign up. Sorry. That was another episode of All Taste 5. Once again, I have been Theta. This has been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?